Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, has compiled this. They're calling it a collage. It's basically a lot of photographs of her life with Prince Harry and the children. And it's all stuck on a board with a few drawing pins as far as I can see. There's a little bit of her calligraphy. It says love story. They're the lyrics of Stand By Me and a whole heck of a lot of pictures, photographs. Now, for a couple who claim to be desperate for privacy, you might think it's an odd choice of behaviour. The question, though, is, do you think Meghan has overshared? And the number 0207 862 2222. Maybe you had a look at this collage and thought, hang on a minute, what is going on here? Let's kick off with Emily, who was at the wedding. And you told me before the show they were incredibly strict about photographers at the wedding.
They were. So they got married 7 years ago on the 19th of May at Windsor Castle. And because the Windsor Castle is protected by, fortified walls. Oh, here we are.
This is you at the wedding. Looking delightful, may I say?
Outside, thank you so much. Royal blue, Vanessa. Outside St George's Chapel. And you can see the flowers were stunning. Yeah. Lots of peonies, Meghan's favourite flower. And they effectively banned any journalists from inside St George's Chapel. None of us were allowed to be inside.
I was there that day too.
What, were you inside?
Up on the parapet. No, I was on the parapet.
You were broadcasting?
Yes.
So the broadcaster...
I'd love to have heard that. Kathy's take on it all.
No, I'm on the parapet. And yes,
You didn't need the microphone. But the press, so the broadcasters were on the parapet of Windsor Castle, and the rota, of which I was part, the Royal Rota, was in a small anteroom just off the chapel watching it on TV. We were outside the steps as she arrived. But Harry and Meghan said no journalists inside our wedding. Fair enough. The relationship at that point was still pretty good. We were all still calling them amazing. And I remember writing, after they went to Australia 6 months later, the Duchess of Success. What a breath of fresh air. So I kind of feel that when I see this mood board of or collage, as you say,
intimate moments,
and then we wind forward from that very happy day 7 years ago in Windsor. We've had Megxit, we've had Harry and Meghan leave the royal family because, as they said, they wanted more privacy. They didn't want to have to deal with the press. And then we see they didn't want their children to be shared. I totally agree with all of that. But then we see these very intimate family moments that she is putting out. And I feel, as I think I probably have always said, it was never that Meghan wanted privacy. She just wanted it on her terms.
Right, let's bring Kathy into this. So the picture that gets me on that mood board is the one which is in utero. In other words, inside her own womb. And it is Archie, her son, in the womb. And you just think, blimey, some people wouldn't even send that to their parents or parents-in-law.
I think you'd have to call that a fetal attraction.
What do you think of sharing that publicly?
I can't believe that they're oversharing to this extent. But I would also say that Brits have become oversharers. When I first moved here 35 years ago, you had to do open heart surgery to see what was going on inside an English person. Their leg could be hanging by one sinew, and you'd say, how are you? And they'd say, tip-top, right?
All good.
But now we're all sitting in our truth. I mean, I'd rather sit in pigeon poop than sit in my truth. And I think a lot of it had to do with Harry and Meghan sort of stripping off their emotional underwear in this psychological striptease that reveals all. They've been so oversharing about every aspect of their lives, but it is reflected in our society now.
Well, of course it is. Social media has changed everything, and we literally photograph our food when we go out for dinner and when we're in hospital. I mean, we've all done it. I've been in hospital and gone, doing okay today, day 3. So
I've done hello kidney stone. Yes, I look terrible. Yes, I did do that.
Yeah.
I did. I can't say I didn't. But I've got 2 daughters. One is a lawyer, one is a teacher and therapist. One does allow me to feature the 2 exquisite genius grandchildren on my Instagram. The other one doesn't.
Yes, you see, I don't share my children.
You see, you don't share your children.
I don't share my children.
So would you share a picture of them in the womb?
Well, I can't. Yes, that's a bit more medical, isn't
it?
It?
So private.
I think it's
incredibly personal.
Well, I mean, in my new book, How to Have Healthy, I've literally bared all. I've had blood tests. tests and blood scans and brain scans and everything. So I'm putting it all out there.
You became a human guinea pig.
Yes, that's what I've done.
That's a different
So
story.
yeah, I'm doing. But I'm with my children. It's always backs of heads if they're there at all, or I'll talk about them. But I don't let them have social media.
But don't you think this is because while we're all talking about it, is that they seem to be going for gold in the hypocrisy Olympics? They've done such a how do you say that word?
Volte-face.
It's like an athletic Olympic level turnaround in their attitude, and that's why we're all a bit gobsmacked.
I mean, the pictures are incredibly intimate. There's the very first night they ever went out, which was a blind date, which the public, gosh, wow.
Yeah, we didn't know that one.
There are them kissing in the kitchen, and I don't even know if it's a real kitchen. It might be the one that she hired with Love Meghan, I don't know. But, kissing in the kitchen, those are the sorts of things you might not want to give the public.
I think so. What's motivating her?
I think also this is about brand. Yeah. This is about her making money. This is not about, it's about reminding everyone that she is still royal. There's her coat of arms on there. There's her wedding pictures. There's the royal tours. But it's also about reminding everyone, it's no coincidence that she's released another episode of her podcast this morning. So she does this big splashy like, hey everyone, here I still am. By the way, make sure you listen to my podcast today. She's got her TV show. She's got her line as ever. It was something Montecito, California,
Riviera Orchard, America.
Riviera, American Riviera Orchard. Now it's as ever. And so I think it's about reminding us that to buy her stuff, and it's about building her brand. Here we are. It's a lovely relationship. It's a lovely family. That is very much, I think, her mission going forward. I am obviously one of the 0.5% very wealthy, but also buy into my lifestyle by buying my lifestyle brand.
The other picture I think that is quite amazing, there's the in utero one, there's the first date one where, like, gosh, we can't believe we're seeing this. And the other one is Archie and Lilibet, and Archie is kissing Lilibet. It's a very, very sweet picture indeed. It's delightful. But I thought we weren't supposed to be able to see them. Now, in this one, you can see more of them than you've ever seen.
You can see his face.
Before. You can see his
Yeah.
face. He looks delightful. You can see her little face too.
And it's Christmas. You can tell because there's stockings in the background, it's a Christmas tree. It's Christmas Day, one assumes. And so this is a really quite an intimate picture.
Yeah. Let's go to the phones. Let's talk to Merva, who's on the line in Sheffield. Merva, you don't feel that this is oversharing. You're very pleased to see these pictures, are you?
Good morning, Vanessa.
Hi. Hello, how do you feel about them?
How do I feel about it? Vanessa,
Yes.
I feel really happy with Harry and Meghan. She is a woman. It was her anniversary, Vanessa.
Yes.
Right? There's no need for all this cattiness and bitchiness. It's ridiculous. And the other lady, the blonde,
Emily, yes, she's a royal expert,
so
yes.
boring.
Oh, you think she's boring? Oh my gosh, I don't think she's boring. I think she's really something. She's very punchy.
I've seen her on all the other gutter rubbish what she's on.
Oh gosh.
Right?
Gosh, that's very...
Who's being catty now?
I was going to say the same thing. I mean, you hear what Kathy says, that Kathy Lette, the novelist, who's being catty, Merva? It might be you, perhaps, is it?
I don't think it's me, Vanessa. These ladies are catty.
Oh, dear.
Merva.
It's their anniversary. Let them enjoy it.
Merva, absolutely. People should always be allowed to enjoy their anniversary. But the whole thing, I've been covering the royals now for 15 years. I've met Meghan. She's lovely in person. I really liked her. They got married on my birthday. Well done them. But I think we also have to look at the reason why she's making these things public. I think it's fair comment that we should ask why and why now.
What do you think of that, Merva?
Why you never go on about the lazy one, Kate? Now stop. It's ridiculous.
Gosh, that seems very unkind as well, because we know she's been incredibly unwell and she's been incredibly brave and sort of, honest about the whole thing. Merva, thank you so much for the call. Interesting to have your point of view, obviously. Let's go to Maria in Hampshire. Maria, what do you think of this?
I'm going to be very honest. It's a PR stunt.
Right, OK.
Yeah.
That's it. They're using the kids because them two can't get any attention now. Everything they get about them two is negative, so they're using the kids to get the positive.
I mean, I don't think it's fair, Maria, to say they can't get any attention, because really...
No, what I mean is they get the attention they get isn't good.
Right, so you think they're getting
don't get
negative
me wrong,
attention, and that's why they're using pictures of the children suddenly, having said they wouldn't. Are you fascinated to see them? Are you kind of attracted to look at them? Or do you feel like, look, come on, this is your own personal life. It's not really anything much to do with me. How do you feel about it?
Me personally, with what I've seen has been going on with them two and the publicity they've got about themselves, I think they could be shadowing the kids a bit, I think personally. I don't think they should be parading them out there.
All right.
I think you should leave them alone and let them get on with their lives and just be happy and all that. Stop making publicity all the time.
Nice to hear from you, Maria. Thank you so much. Do you think the Duchess is oversharing on social media, particularly as they've called, as the Sussexes, for privacy? Let's talk to Anne in Nottinghamshire about this. Anne, how are you feeling about this one? Thanks for ringing.
I think that I'm getting tired of poor Harry and Meghan being criticised for everything. That's what I think. I think it was to celebrate their 7 years together, and they're always being criticised. I remember when Meghan was holding her bump, she was criticised for doing that, but Kate held her bump, and in fact, Harry was criticised for the book, but in fact his father did Dimbleby. The Duchess of York did everything to advertise her royalness. And in fact, everything is done towards Meghan. I think it's appalling. They said that she was bullying people in the royal household, but everybody knows in the royal household that the king actually throws things at staff when he gets angry. On the Duke of York.
I'll check that with Emily. Does the king throw things at staff when he gets angry?
Anne? You are not wrong. And actually, I agree with you on Harry and Meghan. I think there's definitely, we've come to a position in the British press, of which I am part, I would admit, that nothing they can do is ever right. They can't say or do anything right. And you are right, the king in the past, as Prince of Wales, and indeed still as king, does have a temper, as does William, as does Harry, and things have been thrown. The bullying thing, I'm afraid, that's slightly different. I mean, I've spoken to a number of people who were terrified of Meghan, but you are absolutely right to point out that there is a bit of a hypocrisy with Harry and Meghan, can never do anything.
And somehow different rules apply.
Yes.
And thanks so much for the call. Excellent point. Let's go to Stephanie in London. How do you feel, Stephanie, looking at this mood board or this collage? I think you've rather liked it. You've liked seeing those pictures.
Yeah. Hello, ladies.
Hello.
I think it was really nice to share for people like us who miss them, who wish they were here. So it's really nice to share here and then. She didn't overshare. She shared what she wants us to see. And there's nothing wrong with it because she has a lot of video, a lot of picture, but she shared what she wants us to probably comment or wish them well again or things like that. I don't think she overshared. I don't think it's something wrong when she shared. Nothing wrong with somebody who is a mother, a wife, a human being like me and you want to share.
And
obviously,
I'm just checking,
Stephanie,
the picture of Prince Archie in utero, you know, in the womb, the ultrasound picture, you think that's a fine thing to share with the entire world? You don't feel that's a little bit private, do you?
Yeah, but that picture, we don't even see the form of the child, the way they look. It's just like a little design. That's how it looks like. There's nothing wrong with it. She only sharing what she wants us to share.
I agree.
She appreciates life. It's the way she showed it, or the way I see it. It's not like, oh no, I know. Actually, looks like when he was in the belly. No, it's not. It's just like a little design. She shared it, and it was really nice for us to see it. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just that they criticize and the moral mindset of some of the lady that said that why she's sharing it now. Why? It's like there's something behind it. That there's a bombshell coming after. Why is she sharing? She's allowed to share it, ladies.
All right, Stephanie, I'm going to say thank you to you. Thanks so much for the call. I know just in one line you agree.
I agree. I think it's interesting that you and I have such a differing opinion about the in utero. It's obviously a big deal for you. And for me, I agree with Stephanie. It's just a bit like a little graphic. They all look the same, those scans. I could show you 10 of them and you wouldn't know whose baby it was.
Oh, my gosh, I feel as if it's invading a child's privacy before it's even been born. I mean, you haven't even given them the chance to be born.
I'm with Julia.
Oh,
yeah.
gosh, I would
I wish the scans could tell you more. I wish they could tell you where they're going to pick up their towels off the bedroom floor.
I can tell you that.
And if they're going to do their homework. I want a really better scan.